The Amazon has been set on fire. This week, Open Democracy has revealed that this is part of a broader government strategy. We were leaked documents, leaked specifically these slides, showing that their strategy to destroy the Amazon includes Bolsonaro, the president's attempts to vilify indigenous people from the Amazon region, which he's been doing since before he was elected. It includes attacks on NGOs, it includes essentially militarising the regions. Bolsonaro's kind of bombastic attacks on indigenous people from the Amazon. That's part of a conscious strategy to undermine their rights and the idea that they're people, so it's easier to steal land from them and destroy the forests on which they rely. And I think it's very easy to dismiss people like Bolsonaro and Trump when they attack people and pretend that they're sort of mad, or that these are just kind of whimsical comments and that they're bigots, but that these bigotries aren't significant. What we've revealed in this slideshow is this is part of a conscious, thought through strategy. They know what they're doing. They're intentionally dehumanizing people so that they can destroy their land. And in this case, their land is the most important ecosystem in the world. We've seen parallels in this throughout history. When colonizers go and try and turn an ecosystem into something they can use for profit, that they have to first dehumanize the people who live there. So we saw this with the genocides of Native Americans in the north of America. We've seen this since the arrival of the conquistadors in Latin America. You've seen similar stories with the Irish famine. This has been a process that's followed the expansion of Western capital throughout the world. It's just the latest phase in a process of dehumanization, vilification, colonization and destruction. Both the Wall Street Journal and The Economist, when Bolsonaro was elected, were relatively welcoming of his election, and that's entirely standard of the view of Western capital to dictators in the global south. You've got to remember that Augusto Pinochet, as he was disappearing and torturing thousands of people in Chile, was being welcomed and praised by the Western media and by big business in the West and by Western governments. This is the reaction that we've consistently seen. These are papers which claim to preach liberalism, but what they represent is the interests of global capital and the global capitalist class, and people who are absolutely comfortable with dictators who will stamp down on the sorts of social movements which challenge them. Latin America, in many ways, is the home of powerful, organised social movements. The people of Brazil are better placed than any of us to understand how they can overthrow their fascist ruler. They've been here before, they've done it before, they've succeeded before, and I have every confidence that organising together, the people of Brazil will do it again. One thing that gives me so much hope is that we have seen a reaction from people across the world who've been informed partly by social media, by new media, as well as by some of the traditional media, about what's happening in the Amazon, about what Modi is doing in Kashmir and India. It's very clear that we're in a moment where the old regime is dying, and it's still up to us to decide what will replace it. And it's not inevitable that the Trumps and the Bolsonaros and the Modis will win. As part of a new global media with Open Democracy, with Double Down News, and of course thousands of other people besides, we are excited to take part in thinking about what that new world might look like. The leading hashtag around the world was "Pray for the Amazons." That sort of implies that this is some kind of act of God, that it's a natural disaster like an earthquake or a volcano. This is not an act of God, this is an act of men. This is an act of rich men who are trying to destroy the world's most important ecosystem and the people who live in it and depend on it for profit. And so we shouldn't pray for the Amazon, we should get up off our knees and fight against the fascism that's destroying it. If you don't pay for the media you want, then you'll be sold the media that someone else wants you to see. And Double Down News relies not on corporate advertising or dark money from billionaires, it relies on money from its donors. So become a patron and join the future of journalism.